From Victory to Purpose by Elton Gar. Harry heard the bullets and ducked further behind the wall. He had been hit twice, but he wasn't going down without a fight. He refilled his ammo and then stood up from behind the wall. He spotted the enemy almost immediately. The enemy was dressed in a blue uniform and held an SMG. He was lifting it, but Harry had the jump on him. He hit him twice in the chest, and just as his opponent's gun came up, Harry raised the barrel and shot him in the head. It was a textbook kill, the type that Harry had been making bank from for a decade. However, the person he had shot turned out to be a decoy, and before he could react, he heard the snap of a sniper rifle bullet. He left the goggles on just long enough to see his name fall from 10 to 11 on the leaderboard. That was the first time in 7 years that Harry's name wasn't on the leaderboard's front page. But rather than dwell on his failure, Harry checked his bank account. The prize had been added as soon as he died. There were no coins because he had maxed those out years ago, but 70 luxury tokens had been added. While he considered that, he received a text from Paul that read,
"I saw your fight. Have you considered trying some Candyland tournaments instead? I think you could be good at that."
If anyone else said that, Harry would have been angry, but he had known Paul since preschool and had actually played in a Candyland tournament with him. It was the only time that Paul had beaten Harry in a tournament. That was when Harry had stopped playing luck-based games.
It's not a big deal. I have enough luxury tokens to stay in luxury resorts for the rest of my life.
And you have for years, so why haven't you retired?
You know why. I don't like to feel useless. Being the best at something gives me something to strive for.
You're one of the smartest and most ambitious people I know. You could become the best at any number of games.
Sure, but I'm losing the fire. I could get back to the first page if I wanted it bad enough. I've survived dozens of patches, 3 major nerfs, and the clan wars. And eventually, I will fall off the first page again and become little more than a footnote.
So petition the AI for a job. They'll find something useful.
No, they'll move a robot out and let me do the job instead. That's not being useful. That is slowing down the system for my own ego.
Then explain the problem to the AI. It is possible that the program that runs the world knows something that you don't.
Of course, that is the solution. That's also the problem. No one has to work because it's all been automated by the AI. No one governs because the AI is better at it. People don't even make decisions about their own lives because they trust the AI.
Would you rather live in a time when children starved and people died from curable diseases because they didn't have money? Your complaint is that you live in paradise.
Right now, my complaint is that my best friend is annoying me.
Harry said,
Only because you make it so much fun. But if you find a solution, let me know. I might be a bit bored with paradise myself.
The AI pavilion was at the center of the city. Its appearance was a mix of a government building, a temple, and a botanical garden. It was also entirely unnecessary. You could access the AI anywhere and get the same answer, but sometimes things just needed to feel important. Harry guessed that was why he had put on his best suit and hat and walked all the way there. It was late evening by the time he arrived, and it would be dark for the walk home. But that didn't really matter. The AI would monitor his walk home and adjust any lights as needed. There were always people here. Some of them were just enjoying the garden, while others spent their time maintaining it, as the AI pavilion was one of the few places that was maintained entirely by humans. Scattered around the gardens and filling much of the marble building were what Harry thought of as confessionals. They were wooden rooms with a thick noise-canceling curtain in place of a door. Inside was anything but technological looking. It was a padded wooden chair. There wasn't even a monitor. Instead, the AI projected a human image through a hidden projector on the ceiling. He sat on the bench and waited. The AI could talk to everyone simultaneously, and often would appear as soon as you entered the confessional if it sensed urgency from any of the many sensors and cameras around the AI pavilion. But in most cases, it made you wait. The exact reasoning for that had never been disclosed by the AI, but most people believe that humans have more authority to someone if they seemed busy and made them wait. The amount of time they made someone wait was determined by the reaction of the person. Harry knew some people who waited hours every time they dealt with the AI. He was naturally less patient than that, so he only waited minutes. The projection made it look as if it came through the curtain, and then sat down on a chair that wasn't there either. It was a young woman, attractive but not enough to be distracting. She looked both serious and friendly, and wore reserved but elegant clothes. None of it was real. The AI could look like anything, but just like making people wait, it acted in the way that was most likely to be valuable for the person they were talking to. Once she had sat and smoothed her dress, she looked Harry in the eyes and said,
"How can I help you?"
Talking with the AI could be frustrating at times because it often performed ignorance, as many people were uncomfortable with how much the AI could extrapolate from the data it had.
I fell out of the top 10 in the wargames.
There was a moment of silence. The AI could respond faster than a person, but they did the opposite, taking pauses in conversation.
According to the record, both your physical and mental health are good. If you would like advice on strategies or training with an AI avatar, that could be arranged.
That was odd. The AI rarely gave advice on any game outside of the basic rules, and while it would program training bots, they were designed to be less skilled than human players. An avatar would be far more skilled. What was even more strange was how little appeal it held. Playing against an avatar would be fun, but not to learn to beat human players.
That is only a symptom of the problem. I could have practiced more, and 10 years ago I would have, but it doesn't feel important like it did before.
It is not uncommon for humans to change interests throughout their lives. Perhaps a different game. I believe you would do well in city management, and the data you create would help us make physical cities better.
If you tell me it will work, I will trust you. But I don't think what I need is another game.
Many humans find religion and philosophy important sources of meaning. Perhaps you should consider trying to eliminate desire.
I've taken meditation classes before. Some of it was useful in wargames, but it wasn't really right for me.
The woman leaned forward and spoke softly. She said,
"Let me tell you the truth. We've been stalling trying to solve the same problem. Humans evolved in struggle, and in many ways they need it. But we've solved almost everything, and you said it yourself. Doing something that can be done by a robot isn't really any more real than the games. Less in some ways because we learn more from the games."
So, I am destined to live without feeling like I have accomplished anything?
You mean a life of quiet desperation? I don't think it is inevitable, and I don't think Thoreau did either. I think he wanted people to try different ways of living.
I'm not interested in living alone, by a pond.
That is good, because I am inviting you to join something else. We are building a generation ship. The project is just starting, but we need someone to run security.
Why not have the robots do it?
There isn't enough room to have robots do everything, and have sufficient genetic diversity for the human population to remain viable. It will just be us and you for a few generations.
Harry felt something he hadn't felt in years. It wasn't just excitement. He had felt that every time he won a tournament, and even more so when he lost in a particularly impressive way. This was that and so much more. It had purpose and hope as well. Even a bit of fear and loss, and it was the best thing he had ever felt.
Author's note: with the explosion of AI and automation recently, there is a lot of fear. Some of it is reasonable, and some of it reminds me of people trying to smash cotton mills to protect their jobs. I strongly believe that it will have to be society that adjusts rather than holding back the ocean, figuratively, that is. I'm all for keeping the ocean where it is in the more literal sense. As it is, it seems clear that it is only a question of how long it will take for the combination of AI and robotics to be able to do almost all the labor that is currently done by humans. That even includes mental and artistic labors. I don't know what that adjustment will look like. I hope it is as smooth and peaceful as it is in this story, but I fear that we'll avoid the solutions too long and make things much harder on ourselves, as we have with the aforementioned oceans. I hope you enjoyed this story. If you did, you can sign up for my newsletter at www.ansci-fi.com. Just follow the link that says Free Book. You can also sign up for my Patreon at any level and get access to all my short stories. Just go to www.patreon.com/Elton. Thank you, Elton Gar.